Radical.
Welcome to Flea Market Stories, documenting one man's journey into the world of flea marketing. I had a run of this that had a lot of dead air, dead space, and it was just kind of me being sad a little bit. So this one I'm taking another crack at. Because these stories are real, man. This is real. This is not me just reporting on something or talking about something in the news. These are things that are actually happening. This is me being real and sharing my flea market stories and my experiences at my store. So they're not always happy as life is, right? So this one I'm just going to talk about. Well, first, before I go into this, I have a quick question. For a lot of you that know even more about the 360 than I do, the Xbox 360, I'm going to try something out with a drive I'm suspecting is putting scratches on my disc. I'm going to try to actually break one of my seals on a sealed 360 game and then run it, install it, play it for about an hour, and see actually or leave it in the drive for about an hour, and see if it's actually putting scratches on a brand new disc. Now I want to use it on a 360 disc. I guess I could use a sealed CD or like a Christian gospel CD I have sealed, possibly. Maybe that might be a better way to go. But I wanted to try it with a 360 disc. I have sealed Kinect games. Of these three, which is the least valuable? 1, Kinect Black Eyed Peas Experience. 2, Kinect Puss in Boots. 3, Kinect Sports. Of those three, I'm thinking I'll put the Kinect Sports in there. It's probably the least valuable sealed. I don't like breaking the seals generally on a game unless I really want to play it. Or it's just a trash game or a nothing game that's sealed. All right, going to flea market stories. I am changing my pricing system. Now, to a lot of you, this might seem not like a big story, but to me, it's important. It's even more of a story than assistants of mine having sex in a parking lot, believe it or not. Because as a seller, as someone with a store, what's near and dear to you is your pricing. Your pricing is very important to you. And when you have it in your mind that something is worth a certain amount, you put that amount on there. Whether it's a music CD, whether it's a video game, whether it's a DVD, it's personal. That's what you are putting on there, not only what you want, but what you expect for it, what you think it's worth. And I hate being corrected by life and the people and the situation. But it's a wake-up call, man. Gotta take that wake-up call. For several years, I've been selling at the flea market, and I've always kind of brought up excuses as to why I haven't been super successful at it yet. I say, when I build this system, when I get better at being a salesperson, or rather, when I get better with putting everything together, it's the spot. Oh, it's the fact that I haven't put things together. Oh, my organization is off. I think I'm just beating around the bush here. I'm expecting not too much. I'm expecting more than people are willing to pay at a place like the flea market. That's what it is. That's what it is. And I've always told people that ask, or they question why things are that much here, I've always told them, well, you pay for quality. I test every single one of these things. When possible, unless it's a Blu-ray, I clean every single disc unless they're spotless or new. I clean every disc in my machine, which takes material. I price every single thing, which takes time, which takes the rolls of pricing stickers, well, which are not too much, and the ink from the pens are cheap. But even down to the detail of like where I place the stickers on the media. Great detail. My displays look nice. Everything I put together looks nice. But just because things look nice and it's organized and everything's clean doesn't seem to matter like I thought it would matter. At least to most people. The sad reality and truth is, at the flea market, most people would rather pay $5 taking a chance on something than $20 for something that's guaranteed to work. That's just the reality of it. Or rather, maybe, with this shit economy, it doesn't matter what I do. People just don't have money right now. People don't have money. We have Of course, it's summer. Gas prices seem to be higher in the summer because more people are traveling. We have housing, enormous prices, rent going up, new car payments going up, used cars now more than they should be. It's hard for people just to survive. Even food prices and bags of potato chips, even the cheap snacks are skyrocketing in price. Most people have less money now than they did last year and the year before. The cost of living. And I've talked about it before. If the tariffs take hold, right now you haven't really felt the full brunt of the tariffs in America here, but if the tariffs, the stupid ass tariffs take hold from a leader in charge right now, then that's going to be an extra tax that we have to pay on top of everything else, on top of inflation. So it could get worse before it gets better. I'm not staying cheerful and positive anymore. In the past, I'd like, well, I'll get them next week. Next week, people will come in here, then they'll be loading up on the Assassin's Creeds and the Call of Duties like they always did before. And no, I don't think there's going to be better times. I think, sadly, even though I don't want to, I have to lower prices. I have to lower prices. So what does that mean? Well, that means something like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to go super, super low. I still got to make money. And I still run all my 360 games in my machine. And if I have to do with the sandpaper, then the sandpaper, that's a little harder to get than the buffing pads. That means something like Assassin's Creed, those games that were 15 now have to be 10. The Call of Duties that were 20 now have to be 15, except for Black Ops. Midnight Club, which, believe it or not, I would steadily get $25 for Midnight Club, or Red Dead Redemption. Those games have to be 20. Other things like maybe even like a Crisis, which is a great shooting game. Those that are 15 have to be 10. Army of Two, great damn games. Got to price them at 10. Racing games like Dirt 2, which is a good racing game. That was 15. Okay, admittedly maybe too high, maybe down to 10. That's just on the game front. The only thing I'm not pulling back on is PS4, because regardless of what it is, I'll get $20 for a game on PS4 because it's the most popular platform that I sell right now by far. People ever keep asking for Switch. When it comes to music CDs, I'll briefly talk about comics. Comics I don't care much about because it's taking up one little small area. I don't care about if people buy comics or not. It just seems like an extra to me. Plus, the lady that brings in comics, I get 25% of what she sells, and she usually has the really good stuff. Anyway, so I don't worry about the books. The movies let me down, though, because I had been lowering prices on the movies, and people just are not interested. And I got some good movies, too. But there's just too many movies at the flea market. So I had 6 trays, a total of maybe 140 movies at a time. Now I'm whittling that down to maybe 80 movies at a time. And my strategy is, there's a couple different strategies, is to have less out than I had before, but to increase the quality, and towards the beginning of the day, to put out my best things, the best games, the best movies, the heavy hitters early in the morning. And when they sell, then I'll bring out the ones that are the, not the heavy hitters, the slow movers. I'll bring out those because I figure I've already made my money from the heavy hitters early in the day. Cutting back on movies, that's the first cut because I haven't been selling them like I used to. I guess more people are streaming now, so. And I wasn't charging anything like $10, $15 a movie. No, I was charging around $2 to $3. And apparently that's still too much for people. Unless it's a movie they really, really, really want, or what happens is someone requests a movie. That's what you get. You don't get people that just want to buy movies. No, you have somebody wanting to request a movie. And it's always a hard to find movie or something that's not available on streaming. So books and movies, don't care about. That leaves video games, and that leaves the music CDs. I've heavily invested in music. And I have a lot of music videos that play on my screen on the background that say the name of my store on the music videos. So I thought that would be, I have a sound bar connected with a light to it. I thought that would increase the music CD sales. And it really has not to this point. And honestly, with the setup, with the design, with everything, I am shocked that people are not walking by going, ooh, ah, look at this place. So I've been on point as far as what I've built, how it looks. Things are just not working because I've set my prices out of the reach of the cheapskates. And it's not the common man that goes to the flea market now. It's the motherfucking cheapskates. Now, on the other end of it, I can't say really bad things about these people because, like I said, the cost of living is very high. And if people go to the flea market and they get a good deal, then more power to them. Hell, I've gotten good deals at the flea market before, so I can't hold it against somebody that does. But I was thinking there'd probably be enough people that would want quality over low prices. There would be enough of a percentage of people that would say, damn, that is a clean copy of Midnight Club. Usually when I see one, the case is all dented up and the disc is scratched, but that's a clean copy. Works good? Damn, that's a clean copy. I will be more than happy to pay for that clean copy of that game that I really want. But more often than not, you have psychos expecting to get that for $5. I look at them like, because they're spoiled. They're spoiled by people selling things and they have no idea what they're worth. And again, hey, I can't say hasn't happened on my behalf too. I can't say I haven't went to one place, which I'll talk about briefly here, which would be the big reason, the big reasoning why I am lowering my prices. And after I talk about this and share the story with you, I'll talk about the tiers I'm putting the prices in for music CDs, for instance, and we'll see what that works, how that works. I remember talking to you guys a few months back about how I got a huge haul. I think I showed it on a show of Saturdays. So many music CDs, and I had so many, 300 or 400. I didn't get to go through all of them. I wound up selling a good bit of them. And I legit got several boxes of CDs for like $40. I was stunned by that. I was shocked by that. It must be the best deal I've ever gotten at the flea market before. And this guy, because of that, I sometimes just bring and drop him off free things. Like there was a trade-in that was a motorcycle bag with a skull and spikes on it, almost brand new. And I had lots of magazines, like women's magazines that I don't sell. I dropped them off there. So I just give him a lot of stuff sometimes because I remembered the deal I got. And what I do is I try to pay people back in some way for giving me great deals like that. So, we became pals, we became buddies, and he knows he sometimes sends his wife to kind of come get me and say, hey, I got some deals for you. And my assistant watches the table, and I go to always check things out. And I even got some HDMI cables from him. In fact, this same guy, 2 years back, he sold me two for $1. They were a bit beat up, but two big power outlet surge protectors. And I've used them both to this day, out of respect for that man. He sells things way too low. So I straight just give him things when I have them to give them. Like I got some NASCAR pins. I'm going to give him also some various collectible things that I just don't sell. So, that's what I'm going to do for him. So we became pals because, not just because of that, but he's kind of a cool fella. We talk sometimes. He always wears weird, funny Cheeto pajamas. Yeah, like Cheetos Flamin' Hot pajamas. This is really funny. He's kind of a hippie. And he's a big fan of like 70s rock and Cheech and Chong, stuff like that. So anyways, didn't mean to go off into like a little tangent about that. Not a tangent, but I don't know what the word is. Let's stay on focus here. There was one customer that came by, and this was 2 weeks ago, and he was looking at the CDs, and there was Seven Mary 3, which is a rock band with that one song, I have become cumbersome. You know that one-hit song they have, kind of a one-hit wonder band? Correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was a one-hit wonder band. Seven Mary 3, his wife was a big fan of Seven Mary 3, and then Tonic. He liked Tonic. Now the pricing on those two CDs, I've tried $8 pricing. And that worked. That worked. I had a Best of Buddy Holly CD I priced at $8. I had another one I priced at $8, and it had been 5 or 10. But I want some flexibility, so I said I'm gonna start pricing some at $8. Well, he picks up the 7 3, and he asked me if I would take 5 for it, and I say I do discounts on more than one. That's my default answer. And then he picked up a tonic, and what would you do for both of these? And I take both CDs, I look at the prices on them, and I say, oh, these both would be 12. Now, it's never happened before that I do the discount, and then they still, are iffy about that. He was expecting 10 on, both of those. Now, ultimately, I let him have those for 10 and it was a really slow sales day, but I've always got to have something, either saying like, oh, well, it's your first time here, so I'll give you a good deal for the first time, or something. I don't even think I say that. I say something along the lines of, you know what, because you seem to be such a big fan of 7 Mary 3, and I've had it here for several weeks, and I've basically been offended that I haven't sold such a great CD. But you come along, and that's the first one you pick up, so because you got that one, are making some bullshit and everything. And I think, well, maybe I'll never see this person again. Well, I saw this person again. Guess where I saw this person? And this is awkward. This is awkward as fuck. And I know this is the reason why this happened, and this is why I'm lowering my prices. Sometimes things happen for a reason. I saw him at exactly the same time, and I felt caught. Exactly the same time, going over to the guy where I get lots of cheap stuff from. And I made a comment about there's some fans that are angled down. I'm like, those fans down this row are kind of weird. Like, how do you even get air from those fans? They're kind of angled down and everything. And I didn't realize, excuse me, I didn't realize when I said that, the person that laughed was not someone I thought at first it was maybe someone related to him, maybe her brother, but it was the same dude. Took me a minute or two to figure it out. Oh shit, that's the same guy got 7 Mary 3. So last thing I'm going to do is let this guy see me looking through this guy's CDs that he sells for 50 cents each. And he's going to put two and two together and go like, oh, this is where he gets his CDs. So what I do is I go to the left and I make it seem like I'm really interested in the wires and cables and the HDMI cables, which I wound up getting 3 HDMI cables anyways. But while the other guy was there looking at different things, I stayed as far away from those music CDs as possible. And I didn't pick up any music CDs until the other guy left. Because hell, if I'm going to, even if I really wanted to get some of the music CDs there, I'm not going to let him see me get the CDs there. I will get something else. And then if he says it later, I'm like, oh yeah, I noticed that. I might have wound up picking one or two up. I don't know, because he pointed them out. Like it was the first time I got some CDs from him, even though the guy I got several boxes from, months and months ago. So I wound up getting, and this guy sells things way too cheap. I tell you how way too cheap. I got 3 HDMI cables and another cable, I think, for $5. You see the prices of HDMI cables? They're not super cheap. I mean, they're not super expensive, but if you go to a store, they're like, $10 or something like that. And these are used, but hell, it's an HDMI cable. As long as they look clean and the connections look clean, if you're just using it to sell, it's not like, you sell new ones with systems. They're going to be used with the used systems. I use them to bundle with the Xbox 360s. A lot of times when you get a 360 on eBay Lot or on Shop Goodwill, they don't have the HDMI cable in there, and you need that cable to sell with it, of course, because most people on their new TVs, they don't have the component or the red, wine, yellows. So I waited till he was gone to go through the CDs, and I found like a 21 pilots that winded up. I don't even think this one needed any buffing. The CD was almost perfect, which I was shocked with. The case had some cracks in it, but it was a blurry face. That was their big CD from about 10 years ago. Now that's an easy $10 sell. And even if it doesn't sell, on my screen in the background, I can play, Ride and the other hits. There's a couple others that have music videos. So that's a boom for my store too, because I get to display those music videos in the background, which brings more kind of people interest. The more recent big songs, and 21 Pilots is one of the bigger bands of the last decade, right? That one, I got a Snoop Dogg, which I told you all, which is the edited Snoop Dogg. Oh shit! Like I did a show off. Yeah, you know, because I did it on a show off Saturdays. So yeah, you know I have the edited Snoop Dogg. I got that for 50 cents, and I wound up getting. I didn't show you guys, but the Samsung soundbar and a Samsung subwoofer connected. Yeah, sorry, I'm so sleepy. Connected to the soundbar, and I got all that for like $25. So, anyways, zoom ahead to this past weekend. I see the same guy, and this time he brings me some things to trade in. He asks me if I do trade-ins. Now, the stuff he traded in, pretty cool stuff. It was a Billy Idol Cyberpunk CD that actually, it was a gatefold open, and it had a damn little floppy disk, which I thought was really badass looking. I mean, maybe badass is not the word, but really sweet. Like, I've never seen, like, a fold-out music CD set that actually had a little floppy disk in there and a booklet. It was really cool looking. And he was saying to me, like, it looks like it might be pretty collectible. You know, you might get like $10 for it here. Again, because he knows I sell CDs for up to $10. Now, what he paid for it, probably not nowhere near $10. But I think it's a little bit rude to ask how much someone paid for something, whether if you're on the buying end or the selling end. I just feel that's a little bit rude, because if they acquired it, they acquired it. None of my business. And then the second thing was a VHS tape, which I told him I don't normally take in VHS tapes. It was U2, I think, Zootopia. I know a Chung Baby, I think. There's a lot of music videos. It's basically like worthless, kind of. Not really worth that much money. And the third thing was actually something interesting. It was a VHS of Star Wars Phantom Menace with a film strip, a little film strip, collectible film strip, and a art book with some really good art in it. Now that I took, with all that, for a $10 store credit. The assistant of mine, I kind of owe her, so I put that in her bag and I said, hey, there's something for you. It was a trade-in. That's for you. Because there was a deal with Pokemon cards that I owed her for, and I don't know if I mentioned that, but yeah. I wore like one or two things, so that was something I just gave to her. So essentially, I got a Billy Idol Cyberpunk CD, which I'm either going to keep or sell for $10, and he wanted $10 store credit. So there was a Collective Soul CD, which was priced at $10, and he was going to turn that into store credit. But here's where things got kind of weird, right? So, and this is, I was really super happy with the way this kind of went down. And the next time I see him, he's a nice guy. He's really nice, but he's really cheap. So what happened was, let me see if I can remember. He wanted a Collective Soul, and then I did the whole thing to where, like, I mean, you gotta understand, like, there was hardly no sales that day until that point. And I was thinking, like, nah, I gotta sell something. Like, I gotta do something, or to trade in. And I kind of really wanted a Billy Idol CD, not gonna lie. And I figured, well, this guy is a regular. This is the third time I've seen him in 2 weeks. So he's gonna be back. So my calculations, everything was going on like, hey, maybe I'll start lowering the prices of stuff, because, maybe I felt like this guy is Mr. Joe Everybody. He's your average flea market person. And in that moment, I realized that I have the Collective Soul CD priced too high. It's priced at $10. Damn good CD. I think Collective Soul's first CD had all their big hits on it, like Jumper. No, wait, no, I'm thinking about... No. There's 2 songs about Third Eye Blind. No, I'm thinking about Third Eye Blind. No. Collective Soul, great group from that time period. One of the best CDs was just Collective Soul from '93. And just because it's one of my personal favorite CDs that I like from that time period, I priced it at 10. But in that moment I realized, it's not Pearl Jam or Nirvana. Okay, it's not even like Foo Fighters level. It's not Green Day. It's not Cranberries. It's Collective Soul. Most people don't know who Collective Soul is. And in that moment I said, even though it was a lie, oh, my assistant must have priced that at 10. It's supposed to be 5. I think there was a AC/DC that was near it, and I think she got that wrong. So in that moment, there's that. So he got that for 5. Then there was an Uncle Cracker, right? The Uncle Cracker was priced at 8. So then he tried to do the Uncle Cracker as a turn-in, at 8. So I said that was $10 credit on those things, so remaining balance would be 3. This is the second time he's tried to do the two fives, the two CDs for one was 10, one was 8. But this time was different because it wasn't cash, it was a trade in. So you might argue I got the worst part of the deal. But here I'm thinking, like, well, this Billy Idol Cyberpunk and the VHS that I gave to her, I really wanted that VHS. He happened to have exactly the thing, a Phantom Menace thing, which weirdly, it was this assistant of mine's favorite Star Wars movie. Yeah, I know. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense. This is something for her with the art book. This would help me make things up for the fact that she had to trade in some Pokemon cards that she didn't want to trade in. I can tell she didn't, but long story there. So because he had a thing that I wanted to give to her in that moment, okay, I made the deal, which was 2 of those CDs, 5. And I forget, I think I said something like, well, I really like the Billy Idol CD. And this is an interesting Star Wars piece, so okay, I'll do that. This is the second time where I capitulated. There will not be a third time. There will not be a third time because I'm adjusting the pricing on a lot of those music CDs. Now here's where I finish off talking about my pricing on the music CDs. It had been before 3, 5, and 10. No, 3, 5, 8, and 10. Meaning 3 is 2 back from 5, 8 is 2 back from 10. And that gave me some flexibility. My thinking was, if it was $2, that's really not even worth having out there. But a CD is small, and they clean pretty easy versus DVDs. I can listen to a CD easier than I can watch a DVD, and DVDs start out at 2. So why don't I just have some CDs at 2, but 5 be the standard that most of them are at 5, get rid of the 8, and have the 10. This means some CDs that he got before, like a Uncle Cracker, which honestly, it's really only got one big song. Follow me and everything is all right. You know that song. That's the one big song there. People know Uncle Cracker, but I don't know. It's not like a Kid Rock, okay? If it was a Kid Rock, ain't no way in hell a Kid Rock is going for less than $10 in my store. Because it's Kid Rock. I don't care if it's Cocky. I don't care if it's any other album. Yeah, if it's a Nirvana, ain't no way in hell that's going for less than $10 in my store. AC/DC, so forth and so on. Metallica, Megadeth, yeah. Certain things are at the tier. And if I can let it go for 5, I'll let certain ones go for 5. So that means, in the future, a Sugar Ray, an Uncle Cracker, a Hoobastank, which I had at 10. Hoobastank is going to be 5. Some CDs that I think are great, like Counting Crows, for instance, no longer going to be 8. That's going to be 5.